Hey everyone, and welcome to episode 7 of Just FK. I'm your host, Floy, and here's my other host,
Kory.
Today we will be discussing ethical non-monogamy in the polyamory lifestyle and proper boundaries, as well as the importance of safe sex and STD testing.
Today we also have my mother. We'll call her Anna.
We just call her Ma. Hey Ma. Hi.
Call her Ma too. I don't think I've ever called you Ma a day in your life.
Right.
Maybe once or twice.
I love Ma to death. Ma is like better than my Ma.
Well,
yeah. Shocking revelation. I actually let my mother listen to this shit. Shocking revelation. None of it shocked her. Another shocking revelation. She still loves me.
Yeah. Oh, but some shit did come out. Do you want to discuss that, or do you want to?
No, we'll pass. See, I'm still processing. That's the issue.
Yeah.
I got to process.
So yeah, there's been a lot of revelations come out with the idea of these podcasts that have been coming out, and I really want to just start off today by saying that ethical non-monogamy, it can be a very dangerous game, especially if you are new to the poly lifestyle. But it's important to maintain complete honesty with all parties involved to avoid emotional downfalls or things like what I'm going through now. It's a potential STD scare.
Well, I mean, everybody's had an STD scare.
I have never in my life had an STD scare. But I mean, it's a little freak out moment. I spent the majority of the day panicking yesterday. And of course, my day that I had in my professional life, didn't help things either. So that was just a really bad day for me all around. I think it could have been better. I could have probably handled a lot of things better.
I think we all can handle things better.
Yeah, but it's important, even in monogamous relationships.
Well, yeah.
To maintain that level of honesty.
So, me and my mother were actually talking about this the other day, about how she raised me and why she did it and the reason behind it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And that it was a choice.
Yes.
That I chose a way to raise you because of issues from my own upbringing that I wanted to avoid. It was a very conscious choice.
Right. And the choice was made because you, in your early days, and still now,
sexuality was not discussed in my household when I was a child, and
still not
in any way, and it is still not a topic that is talked about in any way. There is no TV show that they watch that has any kind of sexual connotations.
Yeah, I love them. They're good people.
They're very good people. They're very, very
conservative is the right term you're looking for. Now, see, that's the thing, though. They were raised in a different time, a different era, different everything, and yeah, it's pretty tight. You gotta. There you go.
I'm getting it. Okay. I'm just moving it so we can hear your mother.
Oh.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's gonna be horrible on the podcast. Anyway, they were raised differently.
They were raised with in a different time. There was no internet. There was no cell phones. There was no TV that had any kind of sexual interactions at all. Kisses were the basic of all sexual contact, and then the picture went to a closed door of the bedroom. But when my parents had the sex talk with my brother and I, it was very unequal. My mother came into my room and handed me a condom and said, use this if you ever need to, but don't you ever need to. And then I found out later that my brother, many years later, that my brother was actually given a
Hustler.
Playboy, no,
Hustler. Oh,
Playboy,
Playboy. Okay.
Subscription, and basically said, "Go get them." And so it was completely different. And then I was raised where I was not to have any kind of sexual thought or action or contact or anything like that. And that stinted me in a lot of ways. And so when I chose to raise my kids, I chose to raise my sons. I didn't have daughters. When I chose to raise my sons, I wanted to have open conversations where they knew they could come to me with any questions, any.
Yeah, that shit backfired.
Well, no, not really.
I don't know. I remember.
It just surprised me because Zach was 4 years old and he was in his car seat, and I was driving down the road and he said, "Mom, what is sex?" I mean, 4 years old, you're not expecting that question to come out, and it, really startled me. But I think that I picked up on it pretty quickly and answered it, and basically said, "Well, what do you think it is?" And he said, "Well, when mommies and daddies kiss." And I said, "Well, that sounds good to me." And
see, me personally, because of my sexual abuse trauma and all of that, it was very important to be very real with my children and be very honest with my children. So at the age when they could start talking, I started with that. This is this is your penis.
Exactly.
This is appropriate touching. This is not appropriate touching. And I've been very, very honest about sex.
And I've never made it a bad, dirty thing.
Yeah. See, that's the thing. I think a lot of people still view sex as like nasty, gross.
Well, it's not gross, but it can be very nasty.
Well,
right. But see, that's people's like mentality.
The connotation.
They feel like, oh, dirty afterwards. And I'm sitting here like, man, I feel great. Let's go shopping.
The thing is that the miracle of it has been taken out of it in such a way that it is considered and has been considered, honestly, for generations as
thousands of years. Let's start with, I don't know, the dark ages. I think we can go back as far back as the dark ages. Societies where sex was lauded as normal, like Japan, their society was very sexualized until right around World War II, when America took over Japan after the bombing of Pearl Harbor, and we instilled a very conservative regime. That's when they had to censor everything. That's also why there's tentacle porn, but we'll get onto that at a different time.
No. Okay, so society has always been very open with sex. It wasn't until the 1930s that they started trying to pushing a higher family morale and the Leave It to Beaver look.
That's so.
And then in the 1940s, the Stafford came in, but American before that was always extremely sex positive. Even past the Christian days, they were always so sex positive. Actually, monogamy wasn't even really a thing, even in marriages. Because the men always went out, they sewed their ties, they were on the road. That's what they do. That is what men have always done. They've never really truly been faithful, and that's never been ingrained to be faithful in them until recently the Leave It to Beaver family look.
Well, 1 second. I'm going to touch up on this because I was actually reading a study done about women's and men's sex drive and the comparison between the two.
I have the sex drive of a freaking man.
Well,
probably more so.
Hold up. There's actually something that I don't know if it's been proven or not, but it does leave a question out there that men's sex drive is typically a lot higher than a woman's. It's there's
because you have more testosterone in your system.
No, actually, it has to.
That would explain my beard.
There's actually a theory that fertility comes into play a lot more with your sex drive than people think it does. Because think about it this way, okay? A woman is only fertile roughly about 1 to 2 weeks out of the month.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas a man is fertile constantly until we're like dead. So
Okay,
Well,
so
you've got a great grandfather who had a child when he was 89 years old. So
yeah, that's kind of my
proven
fucking point.
in our
Like,
family.
so okay, so what does it speak about? That whole theory. Like even when I'm on my period, I'm ready to go.
right. Okay.
Well,
now,
okay.
like I said, I'm saying I never said it was proven. I'm just saying that it does bring to question whether or not your fertility has anything to do
I
with
don't
your
think
sex
so.
drive.
I don't
Now-
think
Yeah.
so because I am just a little background. I am a single person right now, but I have had different relationships through my life, and I've got a very high sex drive.
You also managed to have 2 boys while you should not have.
I was actually on birth control both times and breastfeeding on the second one, and was not supposed to be able to have children.
That's how my first
and
one came
got-
about.
I got pregnant 2 times, and my ex-husband and I decided we didn't want to have kids. So they were kind of God decided to laugh at me and said, I know better, you need sons.
Right.
And
This is kind
so-
of proving my point here. Like,
No, it's really
yeah,
not.
it really kind of
No.
is.
I think that and this is from experience. I don't have to have science to prove this. This is from experience. I think women who have higher levels of testosterone have higher levels of sex drive. And that because
Well, hold on.
men-
I really think that's backwards there because the women who have higher levels of testosterone, their sex drive plummets because they develop something called PCOS.
I have PCOS and I have a high sex drive. Yes.
Actually,
So-
so fun fact, the way you can tell if a woman has a high testosterone and has had high testosterone most of her life is by the look of her chin.
Oh, yeah. What do
And
I
her
mean?
jaws.
Do I have high testosterone, or is it the way
A
that
little
I'm sitting?
a little bit of the wider jaw, a little bit longer in the chin, higher testosterone. Yeah.
Long
wide jaw,
chin.
Yep.
Why
Oh, look at that. We're going to have a new member on the cast today.
But-
Floyd's husband.
Just shut up. Come in. Sorry.
But
There
just
he
to
is.
clarify what PCOS is, it's polycystic ovarian syndrome, and it is
Well, hey,
Po.
Oh, make friends.
Sorry, guys.
Yeah, there's
And-
Poe's on the podcast too now.
Yeah.
Make friends.
Come here, Po.
Good boy. Good boy.
PCOS is
I tell you what. Give him a piece of bacon out of the fridge. He'll be your best friend for life.
yes,
Hold on, Poe, come here.
good boy.
Oh, I didn't like.
Thank you. Thank you.
Say hi, Kyle. We're on air recording now. 12
Hi,
minutes
Kyle. We're on air recording now.
in.
Yeah, you guys aren't married.
PCOS is a syndrome that some women get that is usually misdiagnosed for many years, which can actually cause that has 8 different symptoms, and one of the symptoms is that you have a very hard time getting pregnant, and that was the only symptom I didn't have out of
Yeah,
the
he's good.
8.
Now, why don't you go through some of the markers of PCOS just in case
Well,
somebody's listening? who might
Hot
have them.
flashes,
Hot flashes.
weight gain,
I know skin tags are one of them as well.
Skin
irritability.
Dark skin in folds.
Yeah, that is also could be pre-diabetes too.
Yes,
it
depends
could
on
be,
where they're
but-
at. If it's on the back of the neck, that is a precursor for diabetes. I told you, you'd make a friend for life.
Yes.
He's such a
Um,
spoiled brat.
Let me just look it up so that I have all of the facts just right at. Actually, they've got 10 symptoms now, I guess. So,
Lack of children is one
lack
of them,
of children
Yeah.
is one of them.
which is why it took you
It
so
is
long.
Kory's theory. All of Kory's spouting.
Now, hold
that's all
on.
his
It's not
theory.
that it's my theory. It's actually a theory that's being tested. It has not been proven.
Cite your
All
sources.
right, let me catch.
Cite your
All right,
sources.
I'll have to find it. Let me catch you up. I was reading a.
Oh, I've been listening.
Oh, okay.
I'm
All
done.
right.
You're good.
You've been listening. Awesome.
Okay, so the symptoms of PCOS are irregular periods, are well, where's the next one? Cysts on your ovaries.
I don't know if there has been. I'll have to find the thing I was reading the other day, and I'll put it on the podcast so you guys can listen to it. I think the majority of it is actually done by psychologists as well. So
Okay.
you got to.
Okay, so like little warning here. Pretty much the things that he is going to spout unless
Well,
unless he cites his sources beforehand, are his own theories or long tales.
All right,
So-
hold
so-
up. I'm gonna find the fucking source now and shut you down.
All right,
Okay,
so
well,
Kory
you're
is like
looking for
the
this
drunken uncle here. He's great for some things, and
I
he's
drink
amazing
and
for
I know things. I'm like fucking Google. All right.
Okay. So irregular
prettier.
periods, absence
Way
of
prettier,
periods,
yeah.
skin discoloration, excessive growth of body hair, and that can be anywhere. It doesn't have to just be in a certain place. High blood sugar is a new one. That one, and I don't have that. I don't have the diabetes. Acne is also a new one. I never had acne. Unexplained weight gain. Now, if you saw me, that I definitely embody that one. And fatigue, I've got that one. Infertility, that was the one that I never had. Virilizing signs, which I am not even sure what that is. Abnormal hair growth in areas that are not usually common for women. Okay. I guess that would be beards. Ovarian cysts, I already said that. Those are the symptoms, and because they are so across the board, so many doctors completely misdiagnose. They see it as just problems with your period. My biggest problem was the cysts on the ovaries. I would get 5 or 6 cysts on my ovaries every month, and they would explode. And Kory has seen me actually pass out from this.
Oh, well.
So
That made me hurt.
Yeah.
it's-
Oh, okay.
yeah.
All right.
No.
But
it's painful. So that's what PCOS is.
all right. So a little bit of a rabbit hole, bringing it back.
Yeah.
All right.
bit?
So
Virilizing signs, by the way, are like excessive facial hair, deepening your voice.
I know.
Yeah.
Okay, so getting it back on a little bit of topic,
See, I had that.
speaking from the ethical non-monogamy or polyamory, it is so important to maintain that level of honesty because of consent, really, and it has to be. You have to be able to give somebody a consent to do those things that you're doing for them to be able
There
to
has to
tolerate
be a
it.
trust.
Boundaries.
There has to be a
Yes.
trust.
Yes, but
Yeah.
trust is built. It's not just there.
Exactly.
Like,
No.
in my marriage, we still have consent. Okay,
Mhm.
there's still a lot of consent that goes back and forth between the two of
Yeah.
us, and it's not just me getting her consent; it's her getting my consent as well. And it's little things like she's like, "Hey, can I go fishing with my dad tomorrow?" Or stuff like that. I'm like, "Yeah, you don't have
Right.
to ask. If if I woke up and you weren't here, I'd find out."
Yeah.
Right, but at the same time, it's that asking.
Hold on.
Right,
Step
like-
right over here so you can.
That's
The people
That-
on the mic can hear you a little bit.
that
So-
shows respect.
Right, right.
Exactly.
And I know, like with her, even.
All right. So for those of you who don't know or just turning in, I am in a polyamorous marriage. It is polyamorous, but it is also monogamous. My husband chooses to stay monogamous
Yep.
because that is his choice, even though I've pushed him to potentially find somebody else.
Yeah.
But he insists that he does not want that. I am polyamorous, natural polyamorous, but although I'm a little bit too neurotic at times to handle polyamory because of the sexual aspect, and for the previous listeners, you guys know about my sexual abuse and stuff like that, so that was very, very difficult for me. So but in our marriage, everything is open and honest. I literally tell my husband everything, and I tell other people, no, I'm not going to tell my husband, and then I break down and my husband still knows. Because I look at my husband and I'm like, there is no way that I cannot be honest with him because of my love for him. There is no way that I could ever deceive or attempt to deceive in my marriage because of that tremendous amount of love and respect that I have for him.
And see that.
Okay, I'm gonna cut in here real quick.
Okay.
What you were saying earlier about me not backing my shit up.
All right, cite
Here
your
we go.
sources, fucker.
Oh, here we go.
Here we go. So there is an increase in sex drive during ovulation.
Is that from Wikipedia?
Yes, that has been
Because
known.
No,
Wikipedia
it's
is
not.
bullshit.
No,
It's
hold
not.
on. There
No.
is an increase in sex drive. Even you
Right.
witnesses.
Yeah.
Right.
That is
But
a
he
known
was-
fact, but that's just a week of ovulation time.
He
Right.
was covering that though. He was blanket statementing.
Right. Okay. All right. You know what?
He was blanket
Woman.
statementing that all women are more amorous.
I never. Okay.
during
I never
ovulation.
said all women. See, this is
No,
why
And
I
it's
hold
just
arguments.
those 2 weeks.
I
Not
know
all
some
women.
I've known some that weren't.
Right. All right. Now, okay. I don't like blatant statements, and if I made one, I apologize. It's never all women. It's never all men. There are always exceptions to the rule. Always
Also,
have
you
been.
just made a blanket statement. Always exception to the rule.
Yeah.
That is a blanket statement I'm willing to make because it's a blanket statement about blanket statements.
I will
Okay.
call you on your crap.
All right. So essentially, what I'm getting at with the talk, the reason why it's so important, to be always have that
WebMD,
honest-
by the way.
Fucking-
All right. I'll go with
It's
that.
simply because there is a level of risk, and they have to be able to consent to that level of risk that they're willing to do. It's not about controlling your partner. It's not about telling them, or believing in possession, or telling them no, they cannot see somebody, or no, they cannot sleep with anybody. That is their choice ultimately. But
Right.
for every action, there is a consequence.
Yes.
There was actually, and you touched on this, controlling your partner.
Yeah.
I've watched, you can find YouTube videos
Yeah.
constantly of this shit, but they were doing like street interviews. And this guy was talking to a woman. He's like, hey, if you want to control your man, how would you do it? And she's like, oh, I'd crush his dreams.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
That
you saw
is-
that?
Yes.
That is
Yeah.
awful. That is the
And-
most
But
awful
the
thing a
thing
woman
is,
can
I've
ever
actually
do.
heard that.
Right.
people.
I've heard that too. Like, why are you doing that? You're never gonna make it. You're never gonna succeed.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, fuck. What should I do now? I'm just gonna like sit on the couch and
That
not
will
do
like
anything.
crush somebody.
Well, that's the whole point. When you crush them, now you're their savior because you let. Oh
Exactly.
well, hey, I can give this to you if you
You're,
behave.
and
See, I
you're
don't
the only
understand
one
that.
You're the only one that will love me because you already
That is
know.
Right.
such a fucking toxic mindset, and one that
It is.
I speak against so much. It's like, no, you're supposed to love and respect that person. So what you do is you compliment the fuck out of them. Even if they're amateur at something, you boost their ass up so much until they are able to like just boost your fucking partner. Don't control your partner. Just love your fucking partner. Get their fucking backs. Like, support the fuck out of them. Stop trying to crush their dreams to keep them, because when you fucking grow with somebody, that is the most amazing feeling.
I think that's why a lot of relationships fail in the end.
Fuck yeah,
It's
they
because
do.
They start to try and control each other. It's not about control.
Well,
I don't try and control my wife. If my wife wanted to go and become a veterinarian, because she's a vet tech right now, if she wanted to be a vet or a veterinarian, I'd be like, hey, baby, look, I got you. And I'd be a fucking shit. I'd get a skirt and everything and some pom-poms. I'd start waving that shit in the air to get it. Like,
But another part of that is that by respecting the other person and being their primary cheerleader, you are growing yourself in that relationship, and the more you give, the more you get.
And that's just
That's
not
true.
for polyamorous relationships. That's for every freaking relationship.
for
If
But
you
that
are
goes,
not,
that goes for
Yeah,
friendships,
exactly.
That goes
parents.
for parents and children.
I feel like I
Um,
missed a big chunk of something there when I stepped out for a second.
Oh,
Big time.
boosting
control.
your partner,
Yeah,
versus
boosting your
destroying.
partner. Like,
Oh yeah.
yeah, right. See,
I used to like
that's-
my
Like, you
husband
gotta
all the
talk
fucking
somebody.
time.
I don't care if it's your friend, if it's your wife, it's
Right.
who
Like,
it
you
is.
see somebody on the side of the road, they've had a bad day, just be like, hey, look, motherfucker, let's get to going. What's wrong? And they tell you,
Exactly.
well, my wife took the kids, she took the house, I don't have a penny to your name. I'm like, you know what? Fuck that hoe. Let's get you a job and let's build up
You know
again.
what though?
Okay.
Your legs still work.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
You know, your legs you're still able to build. And that's
There's always a
And
positive.
you've always got to keep that positivity. That's why for a long time I used to joke, it didn't matter how shitty of a day I was having. Oh, I mean, you having a bad day? Yeah, my dick still works.
yeah.
That it does.
No, okay, that's a big dick energy though. You know, when you wake up and it's just a little bit
Yeah.
bigger than normal, and you're like, fuck yeah.
Okay,
Big dick day.
I don't understand. Like, I don't understand this man here. Like, he does not have big dick energy, and he needs to have that big dick energy.
Oh,
Trust
he's got
me,
it.
He's got it.
I'm just subdued around you. You should see me at work. Two totally different people.
He's like a cute little puppy with me. It's freaking adorable. Like, every morning I wake
Well-
up to good morning, beautiful text, and like naked
I do the same
pictures.
thing.
And I'm like, yes.
I do the same
love
thing. Like,
it.
okay, look, I learned a long time ago. Women don't really respond to dick pics.
Right.
So ass pics, right?
Right.
Take a pic of your ass, send it to your
Oh,
wife.
no, I have
Like-
one angle that works for me when it comes to selfies.
No, you've got more than that. But seriously, approach your partner, even if you're a woman, approach that partner with big dick energy.
Okay, what we're talking about is building up your partner. Okay, that's
Maybe
what
a
we're
little
talking about.
crass
God, I
when
need
doing it.
glasses.
Yes, you do.
Quit leaning me
But no,
over.
it's about building up your partner. Okay, like sending out those positive vibes just to make them feel comfortable to take risks,
Pretty close.
because they know if they take. Some people think this way, like my wife thinks this way, and it drives me insane. When she takes risks, she feels like there's an eventuality that she'll lose me, and I'm sitting here like, no, you're the best I'm ever gonna fucking have. Like,
A small part of me wants to agree with that, but I know
Well,
you're awesome.
yeah.
I'm pretty partial to my son, but I'll tell you what, he married up. And
Damn
I
straight I did.
completely
I'll agree with you on that.
Yeah, everybody says that,
And I love my
and
son
I'd
more
say
than
that.
anybody.
I say that.
She's like the Hunter Barbie.
Oh,
Yeah, she is.
she
Yeah,
can do
she's-
anything.
oh.
She actually, quite honestly, she is a younger version of my mother.
Now let me
In
tell
the
you.
way she can do
Okay.
just about anything.
Now I call her a Disney princess, but I call her a Disney princess for not the way that she looks. The way that she handles animals is
Mhm.
just absolutely phenomenal. Like, I've never seen someone that just had random shit just walk up to her and just sit down and let them, like, fucking wild squirrels and chipmunks and
What?
fucking shit. Yeah.
And
No,
she
okay.
can catch a fly with her fingers.
Yeah, she'll do. Yeah, she will. Oh, you got to see that. She'll literally just boom, catch a fly right out of the air like a fucking cat. I'm like, all
she's
right.
watched Kill Bill too many times.
Right. So hold up, I'm not even done. Let me tell you a story. She was out fishing by herself down at the I think it was the White River or some shit,
Yeah.
and she was trout fishing. She got a bunch of trout. A stork landed right next to her, looked at the fish, and then looked at her. So she went to go gut the fish. Okay, and then just hand fed it these fish guts. All right, yeah, that's not even the craziest thing I've ever seen. We were at an amusement park. You guys know which one I'm talking about. And a wild chipmunk just walked up to her, and she walked up to her. She handed a piece of wood, looked at her, let her pet it a little bit, and walked off. It didn't run. It just walked away.
Are you sure she's not Isabella from
No,
Phineas
I'm
and
pretty
Ferb?
sure she's an alien.
Like, because she can talk squirrel.
I'm pretty sure she's an alien. But that's why she also kills them too and eats them. She doesn't have a sense of, propriety when it comes to killing things that like her.
Well, she's a realist, which is that is a really awesome thing to be. A realist is, and it's hard to find people that are really a true realist in life, because
Right, but see,
most people live in a fantasy world where everything is either
I think you're-
completely Pollyanna or completely negative, and nothing is going to go right for anybody. So I'm going to make everything horrible for everybody.
I think what you're actually like depression. Okay, people with depression actually have a more realistic view of the world, and that I think is like, if you want a realist, find someone with depression. At least you know that they see the world for what it is.
Yep.
And
Yeah,
that's the fucked up thing.
That's probably
Okay.
why I'm such
People-
a realist.
Yet people who are more realistic, who have realistic, goals, tendencies, those views, those are the people who are going to suffer from depression because they don't have a jaded view of the world. Or they do have a jaded view of the world.
Okay, yeah, because I'm like,
Yeah,
I am
yeah, I
so
know.
freaking jaded right now.
Yeah. Oh, me too. After yesterday. Oh, man.
After this morning,
After this morning. Yeah. I'll have to tell you about that later. I'm still processing. Anyway,
well,
no, like, I said that. Okay. Now let's get back on topic. Building up your partner. Just taking time for yourself. I think that's a big one in a relationship.
Oh,
That is a big one.
Yeah. Like, even the majority of therapists will be like, take a few days to yourself. They don't have to be constant days. They don't have to be 3
Right.
days
They
in a
don't-
row.
yeah.
Just like 2 days out of the week. Take those days and then dedicate 1 day or 2 days to, fulfilling your partner, and then request that your partner does that as well.
Right. Now, see, me and my wife, we've got a little bit of a reverse thing going on because we don't see each other very often.
Right.
You see
So-
each other
More
More
often than
than-
you.
yeah.
Yeah. And,
Right.
and that's saying something, because like me and my wife, we've got like 2 hours out of the day to really spend
Yeah.
with each other before she goes off to work. And then we have Wednesdays and the weekends.
Yeah.
But that's it, you know. So the majority of the time we're actually spent apart, which I'm sure does help in some ways to, you know, keep us together.
Right.
But in other ways it hinders us,
Yeah.
because it hinders that growth, and achieving goals together is harder when you're not with that person.
Mhm.
Because you're not rowing the same boat.
Right.
That's-
We
I
gotta,
like that.
yeah, we're not rowing the same boat. We got to get out of that boat when we are and get into our own boats and go do our own shit. Now that
Right.
does help with our own mental health, taking the days apart, but there's times when you don't need that.
Yeah.
And what you need is your partner, and you need
Exactly.
to sit there and, you know, try and shove a finger up their ass and be like, hey, hoo, 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 hoo.
No, yesterday,
And wrestle, you know?
honestly, okay, so yesterday I was stuck alone all freaking day. Like that was
yeah, that sucked.
that was a really bad day for me with everything that hit all at once. And I
Yeah.
swear to God, you know, like I'm not unhappy the majority of the time. Like most of the time I'm happy and I'm bubbly and I'm, you know, fake shit over here. Like I'm fine.
Right.
I can tolerate, but all of that shit hitting yesterday at freaking once.
Yeah. No,
That and
sucked.
all I wanted to do was curl into a ball next to my husband, and I could not. And
Right.
it was the worst feeling in
Which
the world.
is part of why I took the day off work today.
Yeah.
Right. But see, that's the other thing. It's about balancing your work and your
Yeah.
relationship.
And understanding that work is always secondary to your relationship.
But see, that's the thing. If work is always secondary, you lose your job.
Yeah.
no,
okay.
not
If-
necessarily.
I can honestly
You
say
have to put it in perspective. The person that you live for is your spouse or the relationship that
I'm not
you're
saying
in.
you're, Mom.
And your
I'm not
job
saying you're wrong.
Your job keeps.
I'm
that.
going to agree with her and not him.
But see, that's the
No,
thing.
no,
Like, I'm
I
willing to make the
completely agree
sacrifice to
with
keep my
Yeah.
family fed.
See, and
though.
that's
Right.
one thing about our industry that they don't understand a lot of times. It's
Yeah.
like they want us to sacrifice everything for them,
for the
but
job.
it's
And
very
I get that
hard
because
to.
I've worked in the same industry. Like I can
Yeah.
say, my boss is freaking amazing. I could be like, dude,
Right.
I need a day for this. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
See you tomorrow, man. You're good.
Well,
That's-
everybody needs a mental health day, and you know, I did mental health days for my kids when they were little. I would
I
go and
love
I would
that.
take them out
I
of
love
school and
God, I
just
wish I would've had that as a kid.
Right.
and
Oh,
my
I did have
I
a good
did not.
reason.
I would take them out of school and I would tell them, you know, that they're going for a mental health day because they would balk at it. You
Yeah,
can't just take your kids. And I would just tell them,
Right.
yes, I can.
We
I can
live-
take my kids anytime. And I would take them to the zoo. Or I would take
The
them
museum.
to the
We
museum.
lived in Denver, Colorado, and we had all year passes to the zoo and the
Yeah.
museum, and it was all bundled into. And there was something else too, but I can't remember.
the I don't remember what
SeaWorld
it was
or whatever it was?
called, but it was another type of
Yeah.
museum. It had fish and
But
stuff.
we would go to the museum, and in Denver, the zoo is so big, it literally takes you months to see everything.
Right.
Yeah,
And the same thing with the museum.
we
like
would
you
go
go
see
and
the
see
bears.
Yeah, we go see the bears, which
Or
is
the-
like 2-hour walk to get
or
to
the
the bears.
seals. But I would take that time with my kids because I didn't see them very often. I was going to school for 24 semester hours per semester. Plus, I was working 2 part-time jobs.
Yeah.
Plus, I was being a single mom on top of that.
Mhm.
I didn't have much time with my kids, but every moment I did have, I
Wow.
focused on them and their healthy upbringing. And mental health days is a big part of
We
that.
touched on our raising. I'm just going to bring something up real quick that I remembered. When I was probably about, well, I think it was right around 4th grade. I think it was 4th grade. My brother, who's always been a year behind me, was in 3rd grade. Now, while we were living in Denver, some 5th graders decided to pick on his friend. And he got into an altercation with the 5th
No,
graders.
Zach was actually in 1st grade. You were in
First
2nd grade.
first grade and 2nd grade. My bad. Anyway, so he decided that he was going to punch these 5th graders in the nuts because he's in 1st grade and he knows that that's a weak spot. So he just repeatedly punched this kid in the nuts.
Well,
And that's when the
the
teachers.
the whole story is that there was 2 6th graders who were picking on my youngest son's friend, and my youngest son came to his defense. They had actually picked this kid up and thrown him on his back. and my son came to his defense, and just knocked him right in the
A couple of times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and
We have
then
a
they
lot of rabbit
started-
holes today.
Well, I mean, it's okay. I actually like the rabbit holes. It gives people a sense that we're
real.
real. We're not just sitting here having, a focus discussion is good, but having a rabbit hole
Right.
does
Right. And
it
that's
lightens
why
up
I
the
like
con-
the live
right.
format a lot better.
But he
I like his chair too.
out of the whole thing, the synopsis is basically he was suspended for a day because he hit another child, and it was required, even though he was defending another child
Hold up.
They-
I'd like to mention that the teachers were literally like 10 feet away
and saw
and had
nothing.
and saw nothing, quote unquote.
My mom had to actually run up and take care of the situation.
That's what teachers do.
And anyway, my son was suspended for a day in first grade because he hit another child. And
The other
I
kids
said,
didn't get
that's
suspended.
fine. He can be suspended, but that day he's going to the zoo.
They didn't
You
know who they
can't
were.
do that. You can't take him to the zoo. He's got to be punished. And I said, no. I told my son never to start a fight, but to always finish it. And
That's
that's
right.
exactly
Yeah.
what he did. He came to the aid of another child who needed
and
it.
that's what I
And-
think is largely wrong with our public system right now, is that they're like, oh, no, zero bullying tolerance. Well, the fact of the matter is the kids are getting bullied constantly throughout the entire year, throughout their grade school and high school experience, until they snap and they
Right.
go crazy and beat the absolute
Right,
shit
and
out
that
of a
whole
few
dumb-
people.
or bring guns
know,
to
yeah.
school.
And not to bring a whole nother rabbit hole there, but the whole anti-bullying policy, I personally think is a little horse shit.
Okay, the
Well,
anti-bullying,
the thing
anti-bullying
is-
policy.
It's a good idea, but it's not used.
It's not feasible.
It's
not.
not feasible.
It's
Kids are gonna
not
fight.
focusing on the right people
Right.
because it's not focusing on the ones who are being bullied. It's focusing on, or it's not focusing on the ones who are bullying. Rather, it is focusing on the ones that are being bullied, who always end up being the ones caught.
Right.
And
right.
then when they're protecting themselves,
Right.
they get
Exactly.
punished
Exactly.
instead of the bully
see-
who has been doing this for
Right. Let's just talk about
But
this
it's
for a
because
second.
bullies in and of themselves are just generally incredibly
at
well at
home.
manipulating people.
Yes.
and they're probably being
Exactly.
being
And
abused
a
at
lot of
home.
that stems from
Let's touch up on this for just a second. In the anti-bullying policy, if you get into a fight more than 3 times, you're immediately suspended from the school.
right.
Okay. So all you got to do is have, 2 friends that pick a fight with the same kid and get caught. Each one of you has 1 strike against you, but that kid's hit 3 times and he's suspended from the school. He's done nothing but defend himself,
Yeah.
and you and your 2 friends have just been assholes.
Yeah.
And you don't get any kind of the bully is not inevitably the one that gets the suspension. It is the one that is being bullied because they're the ones getting
Oh
caught.
yeah. Yeah. I mean,
How the hell did we go from
when
that?
I
This
was
is not polyamory.
when
No,
I was
it's
in
not,
7th
man.
grade.
This
If
is
you
a
look
great
right
rabbit
here-
hole, though.
I've got a chipped tooth.
Uh-huh.
I got my ass whooped. I got suspended.
Yeah.
That's because you're an asshole. You
I
pick a lot
used-
of fights and you run your mouth a lot. That's why you married a badass bitch for a wife.
Maybe a little.
Yeah.
Protect me. I'm weak.
Yeah.
Honestly, okay, so all right, let's pull back. Let's go back to polyamory.
Thank you.
Self-help, self-love, loving your partner.
No, okay, so
What's-
Taking protections.
what-
I think this is where you're wanting to go.
Right.
Right.
Is protection and making sure that everybody is on the same page
yeah.
in the situation.
Yeah,
Now-
like, everybody needs to be on the same page, and,
Right.
and the reason why that is just so important is just consent. Once again, it's always going to fall in consent, because what if you are not being truthful with your primary partner, or you're in an open relationship, don't ask, don't tell type thing situation.
That's always going
And-
to lead to jealousy.
Yeah, but and then there's jealousy is an inevitable emotion, even for
I call it
polyamory.
territorial.
No, seriously, because me and my husband, we deal with
Right.
jealousy issues. Like
Yeah.
he was just dealing with jealousy issues the other day. Sunday, I saw my DL, which you
Right.
totally ruined for me, by the way. Freaking
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard.
Yeah.
You're not happy about that, are you?
Oh, it made me chuckle
I laughed.
because I'd spotted it too. So
Right? Right. I
Anyway-
literally, before I said anything, I was like, this is going to pay dividends. Hey, think about this.
Anyway.
Oh my god.
Anyway.
Anyways, and there was
Need a wench to stay on
an
the trail
issue.
today. Jesus Christ.
I swear to God. Anyway, there was a time constraint issue of jealousy because it was a his day type thing, and he knew I was going, but it was still, his day, his time. I slept. He handled those. How did you handle those jealousy issues?
That's a good question.
Oh, God.
That's a really
That's
good
a
question.
hard one to explain.
There's the hot seat. You're sitting in it.
Yeah.
Answer.
Like, okay, as the monogamous person here who is married to a polyamorous woman, how do you handle your jealousy issues?
More or less, I'm like, you know what? She's not property. This is stupid to think like this. I mean, yeah, it comes up. It will crop up. I'm not saying it doesn't at all. But when it does, I'm like, ultimately, it's just sex. I mean, really and truly, God, with the amount of casual sex I've had over the years, why would that legit?
Right.
I mean, logically,
No, I'm just saying,
logically, in a logic, mindset, there's no reason for them to get upset over that.
See,
I come from a completely different
right. Well, so do I.
Now, that's not to
stand
say
in that I when I'm in a relationship, I expect monogamy completely 100% of the time, and I understand there are looks, and you can appreciate God's artistic ability, but
Now, why
I like
do
that.
don't go touching the painting.
Now, I'm curious. Why is that? Why do you expect and demand monogamy?
Because I do not like the thought of the person that I am in the relationship with being intimate
right.
with another person while they're intimate with me. As far as I'm concerned, and that is one of those things that I make just clear on top. I came from a bad relationship. It was my big ex is my actual ex, and
my big ex, I just got engaged to. You had kids with him.
I did, and
I learned fast.
He actually went out and he would sleep with anybody and everybody, and I did not know about any of this. I thought that I was in a monogamous relationship. And so when he went and he spent his time and efforts on another person, that is time and effort that he could have been spending making our marriage better, and he didn't.
Now,
And I get
you already
that.
have
And
a happy, flawless
that is exactly what I was about to say. Was
I
think
I've not been in that relationship. So,
right, and I think that's a big
I
part of
still-
it with you and I is we have a very good marriage.
Yeah.
So
But
I
even-
don't really
See,
have
I
a
would
lot of
say
that.
I don't think that even if I was in a good marriage, I could be in a marriage where there was polyamorous
Right.
activity
Now,
in
see, I
any
think
way.
me and my wife are largely monogamous based on the fact that I can't handle more than one woman at the same time. It's too much of a headache.
See,
And
my
I think
thought
the
is
same goes for my wife.
you know,
Like, she's just like,
Yeah.
no, one man is enough for me, because I pester the shit out of her.
Yeah.
Having two people do that,
that's like
she
that.
drives
It's like
her
that old
insane.
joke. What the hell would I want? What I want a threesome? I don't know what the hell to do with one of them.
There's too
Yeah.
much work involved.
Exactly.
There's a story back that.
But
I
I just
don't
want
know.
to eat my Cheetos. Leave me alone.
I'm done, aren't you?
Sometimes you just need a hug.
Yeah, sometimes I just need a hug, but other times the penis ends in my mouth. I don't know how that happens.
Sausage.
I do.
You know what? That happens to me
It's called a
sometimes too. It's
zipper.
okay.
But
Oh.
no, going back to that question, I have not been, the only relationship that was really good in my life was shortcutted by people in my life who did not want me to have any kind of my parents, they just really did not want me having any kind of a relationship with any kind of a man at any time. They looked at me as Pollyanna up on this in this
Pedestal.
in this tower.
There you
And
go.
I was supposed to remain completely innocent. Little did they know I had been molested from the age of 3.
Yeah.
And so here I am in this situation where they don't know I'm being molested because I didn't feel comfortable telling them about it. And yet I am not able to just go on a date with a
Right.
guy.
Now,
Oh,
do you
God,
think
I
you
could
were
see that being
stinted?
insanely frustrating.
Right.
It was
Now,
very.
I do
really
have a
hard.
question for you. Do you think your stunted sexual maturity is eventually what led you to my father?
Oh, I know it is, because the only reason I married him, I didn't marry him because I loved him. I married him because I wanted out of my parents' house, and he was the first one who asked me.
And that is how my ex came about.
That's how I got out
Yeah,
of my
okay.
parents' house.
I
And
love my grandparents.
Okay, hold
But
on.
That
So
was
for
my second marriage.
No.
Holy crap, I've never thought about that till just now.
okay, so
Oh, man.
for those of you who don't know,
Whoa.
I had an ex Clive. He was technically my third fiance. I've been engaged
A lot.
8 times, and I've
Only
been married
one took?
once. Only one took
Better
Because-
odds than mine.
because he's the love of my life. But
She waited for the
It's-
right one.
Well, hold on. It's not
See,
that people
You
are.
made the choice
Yes.
because you
now,
knew what you were looking
My
for
Now-
and
first
found
marriage
it.
was scary.
No, I
This
was
big,
looking
scary dad
for-
with a shotgun.
okay, so
I've
my
heard.
sexual abuse
Yeah.
brought me. I was looking for an out to be protected, and ultimately that's why I went into boxing and then eventually to the gym, is because I got tired of always
Putting your faith
feeling
in the
like
men.
putting my faith
Right.
in men and always having to be protected. Now
and
my
being
third
disappointed.
my
Yeah.
third fiance, I actually lived with him while he was on heroin, and that was just fresh out of my parents' home. And he is the one who actually introduced me to Drew, who got me started up in the adult scene when I was 17. So I
Let's see.
officially moved out of my house when I was 16, and he was in his 40s. If that says something.
See that? Okay, now I've thought about this for a long time.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna put this out there. I've thought about this for a very long time, and if I do have girls, this is gonna require a lot of strength on my part. But I don't want them to feel dependent on a man,
Right.
Exactly.
sexually.
Yeah, don't be
Anything.
dependent on anyone else. And
But
that's
if they
one
want to
thing-
give that
Right.
over to them, I want that to be their choice. I want them to be able to also take that back. Okay.
Yeah, see,
So, right.
I'm kind of gonna what you're saying a little bit, just because I heavily disagree. Teach your children in general, both male and female,
Well, yes.
to never be dependent on anyone for
Because
anything,
people
even
can leave.
including a relationship.
True.
People will leave. People will always let you down. People will lie
Yeah.
to you,
Right.
and
Well, that's
you will
just
end up
humanity.
hurt. Exactly.
That is humanity.
That's
Well, see,
humanity.
for-
People in
I
general
am-
are shit.
I
But we
am the
won't get
one
into that.
person that in my son's life that they know they can depend on
Yeah.
no matter what. And I have let them down. I know I have. I don't know when or where, but because I'm human,
Remember when I was like 2 and you let me down out of the car seat? That was one.
well, you jumped out of that car seat. I couldn't catch you. But people are going to let you down. That is just human nature, because we cannot be perfect. Nobody can be perfect. And if you depend 100% on another person for everything that you need, then
Well, not only that's
you
way
can't
too much to
depend
put on
on-
that person.
it
Oh,
is. You have
absolutely.
to be able to be. You have to be able to be comfortable being alone before you can be comfortable being in a relationship.
Exactly. And
so
there
I'm gonna have to kind of on that one too, because I am not comfortable being alone. I have hard time.
That
being
stems from
alone.
your trauma.
See,
Yes.
here's
If you were raised
See, and that's
differently,
Hold
why
on.
it would be an
I'm
issue.
always.
I could argue that to a point as well.
No, anyway, that's why I always have you guys around, and I know you're going to be there. Like, you guys are literally my life and the only thing that keeps me sane. Because when I'm alone, I become very self-destructive, especially when it comes to an extended period of alone time. A little bit of story time.
Do you think that you would, if you spent some time by yourself and really worked on that, do you think that you could ever get past that,
Oh,
where you could be alone?
I can be alone for short stints of time.
Yeah.
But you cannot. You don't think that you would ever grow to a point where you could be?
I'm
Alone.
still working on that, and I have not made it to that point yet. So I cannot.
But
tell
see,
you.
that's the thing. Like, that's the ultimate goal. Setting baby steps
Yeah.
is how you achieve it. And
Well,
we covered that in a previous podcast.
and I'll be honest with you, it took me a long time to get to the point where I can be alone, and I have been divorced now for 25 years.
Cheers. Congratulations, by the way.
Yay, thank
Awesome.
you. I was only married for 4. We were on paper married for 7. It took 3 years to get the divorce. It was a very nasty, bloody, gory
You
divorce.
still got your divorce ring on?
No, it was stolen.
Oh.
I would have framed those papers at
Oh,
that
was it
point.
by that one little meth head?
Yeah.
Oh, he was such a bastard.
And it was a beautiful ring. It was a green tourmaline surrounded with diamonds. Oh, it was beautiful.
You know
Oh,
what?
it was
I
so
swear to
pretty.
God. Okay,
I
so
love tourmaline.
I
I do
put
too.
so
Sorry.
much stock in my marriage. And like I've been engaged a lot, but my marriage is my life. It is literally
And
everything.
Right.
that's what,
And if it does in fact fail, it will most likely be because of my neurotic behaviors and my self-destructive behaviors, and I'm very well aware of that. But
I
if
think you're
it
wrong.
does
See-
fail, I swear to God, I'm going to be the most eccentric 60-year-old unmarried woman there ever was.
Life goals.
In other
Yeah,
words,
exactly.
she's gonna have like 400 cats.
No, I'm not going to have like 400
Oh,
cats.
sorry,
There will be a few-
387.
There will be a few dogs in there too, and a couple of snakes and a llama.
Now then, as far as you
the
speaking,
llama leaves a
And-
really big pile.
And I swear to God,
Yeah,
I'm
but
going
they're
to
pretty.
hire so many pool boys just to like walk me down Miami. They're going to be on their like hands and knees,
you
walking.
gonna
I'm
Mariah
gonna be riding them.
Carey it?
You misspelled slave.
Right?
Folks like
Big boa, fancy hat. I'm going to have the biggest of the hats ever. It's going to be like 4 feet
Peacock
wide.
feather fan.
Yeah.
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 well, it's taken me. I am
Feed
now
me, poor boy.
52. Yeah, I am now 52 years old, and it has taken me the majority of my life to get to the point where I do feel comfortable alone. Now, don't get me wrong. There are a lot of lonely times too, because being alone, and living alone, it does take a toll on anybody, even the healthiest person. But I have a background of sexual abuse, and then the first time I was on a date, I was date raped. So even my first sexual experience was bad. So there's a lot of trauma that I have been dealing with. I had 15 years of being molested by uncles, and 2 of them, and then being raped, and then going from that into a
Abusive
loveless,
relationship after abusive relationship.
loveless marriage. And the one man that I was completely 100% totally in love with, that relationship was completely side railed. There was so much trauma in my early childhood. I'm surprised I didn't marry Hitler, quite honestly.
Okay. So side story here. I have a Hitler fetish.
Okay, so
A complete sexualized Hitler fetish. It's not just any Hitler. It's a particular
that
little
explains
Nicky.
something.
No, shut up.
It-
No.
Okay,
So
hold on.
it's a particular movie, Little Hitler, and it's from the movie Little Nicky. And
Oh my
that
God,
Hitler outfit
that's-
in hell.
Yeah,
Like,
the,
that's
the Hitler in the French maid outfit got
Getting
her all
pineapples
hot. Got
shoved up
her
his
all
ass.
hot and
Yes.
bothered.
Jesus
I have
Christ.
an absolute Hitler
You
fetish
need a
now.
therapist.
Okay, so
I think
back
you are
to
the
what you were
therapist.
saying. One,
No.
you were gonna go into a story that you stopped.
Which one?
I don't know. You said story time,
I
and then you jumped to fucking rails. Okay.
I don't
Also,
know. I'm
speaking
blonde.
about
I
your,
don't know.
you're being neurotic and your self-destructive behavior.
Ooh, yeah, I
I've
want to
learned
comment on that.
to spot when that is coming.
Well, that's
I can
part of
tell
what your
when that is
your
coming, and I'm like,
person, you being the husband, should be. You should learn your wife enough to know, hey,
yeah, like
we've got some issues coming up.
you know,
I
days,
need to
like some of
I
those,
need to put
right,
pillows
right,
around the wall.
right.
On the
Like
wall.
sometimes, I
And
have those days where I'm just really cuddly
Mhm.
because I can kind of tell. All right, something's fixing to
Pop.
pop off in your
Yeah,
head here.
yeah. Now you were saying that your relationship would probably die because of your neurotic behavior.
Yeah.
Now,
Not at all.
I don't. Yeah, like I was about to say, I don't think so. I don't think that that's going to be the issue. See, the issue in a relationship, most relationships. I'm not going to say all. Most relationships fail is because both parties stop. God, what the hell?
Corona.
Right?
Stop working.
They stop working on the relationship,
Right.
and they stop putting in effort. Now it's okay to have neurotic behavior. It's okay to to go off the
see,
rails
but
every once in a while.
that's the thing, with my neurotic behaviors or my shit, go to the point where he gets tired of putting in that effort, and that's
and
where
that's
things go.
when that's.
But see, that's my
when
strength
that-
with my wife.
Exactly.
Like that's
Like,
when
I'm good at
strongest.
that.
Yes,
That's what I do.
And
I'm good at that.
and there needs to be, there's going to be days when it's 30% you, 70% her,
Exactly.
and there's going to be days when it's 30% her
nothing
and
is,
70%
that's like,
you.
You're
see
never
things
gonna
online,
function.
A relationship's 50-50. No, sometimes
No.
it's 90-10.
Yes, sometimes it is.
But see, if you're ever
98-2.
functioning at 100%,
And like
know,
yesterday, it was more 10% her and 90%
I'd say
you.
1%. You were pretty low
Because,
yesterday.
Right.
I was really bad yesterday. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Like I went to bed at
Like this morning,
9
she
o'clock
got
last
home.
night.
We talked
Yeah, I
for
know.
a few minutes, and I was like, I'm calling into work.
Yeah.
Mhm.
yeah.
I need to be
And
here with you
knowing
today.
that. And
Mhm.
so that is, relationships are fluid. They are not
That's a very
stationary
Yes, they are.
objects, and they're not in a pretty little box with a pretty little bow
And
on
see,
top.
I think that's where a lot
Relationships are
of
fluid.
and I think that's where a lot of people have relationship issues. Is
They
because a lot
expect
of
it to be
people
exactly the
expect
same
it
way.
to fit into this nice little neat
Yeah,
little
no.
bow-tied box, and you just gotta roll with shit
The
sometimes.
human condition has never fit in a nice little tied up box.
God, I
Well,
wish it
you know,
did. Life would be so much
Sometimes
simpler.
people do weird
Right.
shit. Sometimes I'll be
Well, like,
in the
okay.
bathroom and this one will try to come in and kiss me.
There was
Oh
okay.
my God, okay, so
Oh
the
yeah,
other day-
totally bringing that one up.
Okay. we're-
No, okay, so the other day, a little
Freaked me out.
little story time. The other day, I came to grab my toothbrush, and he looked at me weird, and he was like, "What the hell are you doing here?"
'Cause
You
I'm-
crap on the toilet. So what does my weird ass do? I go straddle him and start making out with him. I'm like, I don't care.
Well,
That was
and
really fucking
Blumpkin
weird.
time.
And I'll tell you another
I
weird
had the
story.
same thought.
I had
Well,
another
if
weird
you're gonna
story.
take it
My
this-
ex-husband, that was one of his things. He liked whenever he was taking a crap for me to be in there holding him and hugging him, and all of that was one of his things.
That's weird.
What in
Very weird.
See, like I will do some weird stuff to
Personally,
freak my
that is a
husband out, but
personal-
If
that's
you
not
ever
it.
try to cuddle me and rub my head
No,
while
you-
I'm pooping,
I'm gonna lick your
it better
nostrils.
be because you walk in and I'm crying in pain or something, okay?
Now what? Okay, this is what gets me. Like I'll be taking a stand-up piss in the bathroom. My wife will walk in and smack me on the ass. You know how hard it is to aim when
I'll
you're
do you
getting-
one better. She'll walk in and grab that shit.
I'll hold
Oh.
it while he's peeing. I
It's
like the
weird.
feeling.
And I'm like,
You
oh,
are weird.
stop
This is
it.
completely off topic.
No,
Still,
okay, actually, it's part
I
of
think it is-
boundaries.
I think it is on topic
It
because
is boundaries.
it's about okay. When you're in a relationship, your boundary line gets smaller and smaller and thinner.
It
and thinner.
does. It does. Like I was thinking
Yes.
about that. Like
Right,
you
until
know,
it gets to a too weird, and then you redraw the line. But
Right.
eventually, that fades away too, and you end up becoming very close.
yeah.
That's the whole growing together thing.
Right.
You start off
that's
6
being
feet
able
apart.
to pee in front of each other and it be okay.
Right.
that one took me a bit actually.
And there
Yeah,
are
it
some,
took me having to come up and literally grab you from behind, grab your dick while you pissed, and just be like, "No, you're going to enjoy this."
You know what? You still can't pee while the eye contact is being made.
That's because I have a shy bladder.
You have a shy bladder.
Actually, I did the other day.
Yeah, you did.
Congratulations,
Which
you
makes me
passed the
sad
line. Now
because-
redraw it and start over.
Now-
Because sometimes I like to, it's
What
like
the
music.
fuck are we talking about? Jesus Christ.
If you do it right, you can get little tunes and things, little melody, patterns and beats. You like.
Right. Now, okay, side topic. Have you ever pissed on the side of the toilet, not so you don't wake anybody up?
Yes.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
ninja
It's like
piss. Okay.
silencer mode.
Yeah, all right.
yeah, girls
So
don't have
polyamory, like
girls don't
So-
have silencer mode. We just have
God.
full-fledged sit
Okay,
down and
so-
go.
yeah. Tell me.
I think ultimately, in a polyamorous, I have an amazing relationship with my husband. And so with that, I wanted to, at one time, to find another partner that could complement that.
How did you go about that was the question I had for you. How did you go about finding somebody that he would be okay with and that you would find attractive enough to
Okay.
be with?
Okay,
Dating.
so my DL is extremely attractive. He fits that whole Adam Sandler
I'll even back you
Hitler
up on
kink
that.
to a T. But
Adam Sandler, Hitler King.
Okay.
People are
that's
going to
not
need
fucked
therapists
up.
after listening to
I
this
think
shit.
there was another name given to it, actually.
Okay, anyway, my deal. Oh, Hitler. Anyway, that's a different story for a different day. I'm not racist.
And I got a lot of shit when I mentioned that Hitler, was saving the animals and shit.
I promise
started
you
that.
guys, I'm not racist. I just have a weird Hitler in costume thing
What's
from Little
funny
Nicky.
as hell, I just have
All right,
to
anyways,
point out that you have a Hitler fetish and you're married to a history major.
I know. Okay.
And you're one of the people he oppressed.
Yeah.
Little did you know that was on your application. And
I wasn't at the
Alright,
time,
your
though.
application.
Hold on, guys. All right. So answering question. My husband still actually technically hasn't met. They've spoken a little bit, but they have not met in person or hung out. And I think
Will that ever be?
I'm not sure. I think it's important to keep relationships separate. Although I do also believe in, kitchen table polyamory,
Right.
which is basically everybody's friends, your metas, your betas, everything. They're all on the same page. And but at this time, there hasn't been that. Of course, my current relationship is not going to go past where it is right now. It will never become past that.
Well, and I heard on a previous cast, because I wasn't here when the conversation happened, that your DL is also married.
Yes.
Does the other party know that he is in a poly?
Their dynamics is not my dynamics. I can tell you that, and I can tell you I don't know really. It's not my place to really ask about what's going on with them at all.
Well, I don't mean for you to get into an area that is uncomfortable or
this whole fucking conversation has been uncomfortable.
I just always wondered how you
balance
chose somebody, because it's hard enough to
how I chose him. Okay.
It's hard enough to find one person.
Did you imagine him in a maid outfit?
No.
Is that what happened?
No, actually, it was after we were seeing each other that he sent me that picture that it was like, holy crap, this is why. No, actually, he made me laugh a lot. He made me comfortable to a point where I knew I was willing to go into certain directions.
Okay. On that note, if we ever go to a comedy club, I need to bring a bucket.
You do.
Right? Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, carry a mop on my back.
Laughter is totally a thing that gets me. Like, you make me laugh, my panties will probably
I know. That's how I married you.
And, I've got to say, one of the things that I love about both of my kids is that they can make me laugh like nobody in the world. And I know that's a blanket statement, but it is true. They are both. And
we have two very differing types of humor.
You have two very different types of humor.
I still have yet to find Zach's humor.
Oh,
it's very dry.
It's so dry.
Very dry. It's like Monty Python.
It's like C.K. Lewis level dry. Okay, it's so dry.
So my husband is Louis C.K.
I am not.
He even looks like him. He acts like him. His jokes are like him. Like, that's why I married him.
But
we were sitting. Hold up, I got a story about my brother. We were sitting at a restaurant, right? And my brother looks at my mom because we took her out to eat, and he goes, "Mama," and she goes, "Yes." He goes, "Ooh, Mom or
mother." He always calls me mother.
Oh no, he goes, "Mama, ooh, I didn't mean to make you cry." He just started reciting Bohemian Rhapsody, just deadpan. It was hilarious.
But at the same time, but these guys, they can do the Bohemian Rhapsody song, and they actually recorded it once, and it's hysterical because they do it in time with each other, and it's so funny. It's awesome.
Like, okay, our entire life between me and my brother has been mostly trauma. Okay, now the thing that you get from trauma is humor. That's literally where humor comes from.
A very warped sense of humor.
Yes, but you get humor from trauma, and through that you become funny. Now that is a tool. Use it. Everybody's listening. Use your trauma for humor. Okay, it's the best humor.
Absolutely. Look at any good comedian.
Right.
So I was reading over a debate on social media the other day of guys talking. They're doing their typical guy talk. Women can't be funny. They only have a sexy factor, which makes the men giggle. How true is that with men?
Ooh.
Because I think I'm
okay,
funny
all
as
right.
shit.
I gotta go sign some
All right,
papers.
all right.
No,
Okay.
legit, because I think I'm funny as shit.
Okay. Now, that is a blanket statement. I'm going to disagree because it is a blanket statement. There
Yes.
are some funny women, but I largely don't find a lot of women funny. Now, the reason for that is because men are ugly, and we've got to compensate for that, so we develop humor in order to
Exactly.
have sex.
So
Women are
attractiveness level.
Women are pretty. You guys don't have to be funny.
Right.
Bullshit.
We
No,
have
now wait a minute. Not all women are pretty.
not a woman, no.
Yeah,
But they
look
have
at
a
me.
great
Like I
personality.
look like I was freaking hit in the face with a 2x4.
I disagree.
But shut the fuck up.
But no,
I feel
okay,
the
no,
same way
that's
about
actually
myself.
important. See,
I don't understand.
right, like my wife doesn't think that she's pretty, and that's a fucking lie.
Hold on.
All right.
Hold on a minute.
Like,
Does your wife have glass eyeballs? Like, can she fucking see a mirror?
right? Like she said, like I asked her one day, I was
The
like, "Hey, why
fuck?
don't you ever wear like a tank top with like some booty shorts?" She's like,
Oh, Jesus
I'm-
Christ, dude.
"She's like, I just don't have the body type for that." I was
Bullshit.
like, "Fucking what?"
Bullshit. I will wear a fucking crop
I'll
top
tell you what.
with booty shorts.
You
not
tell
even
her-
giving a shit having my mom belly.
Just for shits and giggles. I'll wear one with her.
Fuck, oh, shit, I'll
I've
wear.
been threatening to
Well,
work for a
okay,
month
I
anyway
can't
because it's hot.
fit into my wife's clothes, but like
Oh, that would be a funny thing.
I've tried.
I bet I could fit into her clothes.
Not her bra or her shirts. Like she's so small
She
up
is
top.
so tiny. She wears extra small, I think.
Okay, yeah, no.
Yeah,
probably
no,
couldn't. My shoulders are too wide.
She's the
Yeah.
size of my ankle.
No, like okay, seriously, her panties go around my thigh. Like,
I could see that. I could
Yeah.
see that.
like
Interesting that you know that.
It's because he's tried them on.
damn straight I have.
Every dude in existence has tried on their
Like,
significant
like-
other's
Oh my god,
underwear.
hold on. What is that anime that you introduced me to?
The
what-
World Without Dirty Jokes?
Yes!
yeah, that's a great. Okay,
That's
if you guys ever wanted to
Freaking
watch
phenomenal.
a
Love
good
it.
anime, A World Without Dirty Jokes is
Don't do the dubbed version though. It loses
No,
something with
it
without the
does,
subtitles.
it does.
It gets so much
Um,
more in depth with subtitles.
Yes. It's actually called
What is it? A World Without Dirty Jokes.
it's a World Without Dirty Jokes, but the
Something
anime
else.
name Shimoneta, that's Shimoneta. Now that is absolutely one of the funniest animes
Y'all
I've
want to
watched.
sponsor
It's-
this? Feel free.
It's yeah, it's not for kids. Well, actually, like the podcast, not
No,
for kids.
so I like okay,
It
they're
is not for
her,
kids.
her superhero character, basically has a pair of white girl's panties over her face. And that is what I just envisioned, which is why I mentioned that.
But see, like
Because
I
I'm sitting here imagining Kory with his Rick and Morty boxers on, because that's literally every time I see him, he's wearing a pair of Rick and Morty. Mr. Meeseeks.
I've got
to be
so
exact.
many pairs of Rick and Morty box. I love Rick and
And-
Morty.
And just like standing there like the captain with his leg propped out, hands on his head, wearing Katie's panties over his face. I don't know why I just saw that, but that is what I envisioned.
Uh-huh. Okay, so me and my wife got into a little bit of an argument the other day. Let me tell you guys, if you want to start a fight, this is how you do it. So we got into a little bit of an argument, and she's like, I'm really, really kind of mad with you. I'm like, okay. So I went into the bedroom. She's like, where are you going? And I grabbed a towel, and I came back out, and I put it over her shoulders and tied it up. And I was like, now you're super mad.
Oh God.
That's how the fight started.
Oh
So-
God. Did she punch you? Like that's what I want to know.
Yeah, she can catch me.
Oh goodness.
No, but see what? Yeah, Mr. Meese. Yeah, you downloaded the right Rick and Morty. Anyway, so yeah, no, like okay, I think stuff like that is actually what builds a relationship. Okay, now I wasn't patronizing her anger with me because she was largely joking around, and I think that's important. If your spouse has something important to talk to you about,
Yeah,
listen.
don't make light of that.
Right, but it was over something stupid.
Insignificant.
Benign.
And insignificant, and she was playing with me, so I was playing with her, and that's what's very important is to know when they're playing and when they're not playing, because you don't want to patronize your partner.
Yeah.
No. Don't.
Just like you
Yeah.
That's when you absolutely
Well, it's
feed
about-
into their their inability to have a self-esteem.
Right, and I will back
all
that up. Like,
It
You know, and
really-
we-
I've
we've
even
covered several
I've even
episodes.
been like joked about stuff and then been like, oh, I thought you were joking with that. Like, I didn't know you were
Right.
legitimately serious.
Right. And then you
Like,
you
now
apologize.
I feel
you're like,
bad.
okay,
You know.
I didn't realize it was.
Yeah.
You were being serious about this. Okay, let's talk this out.
Right.
But it goes back to like, what's that book we read the other day?
Is it nonviolent
Talking,
communication?
nonviolent communication, peaceful talking.
Yeah.
Or I think
Yeah.
that's what it
Peaceful
was.
communication.
Peaceful communication.
Love that book.
Yes, absolutely fantastic. Actually, you need to download my Audible so you can listen to it.
That's something we're gonna
Fair
do,
warning:
talk
the
about
guy that
later.
narrates it will make you want to go to sleep
Now,
because
see,
his
I-
voice is super soothing.
He is. He's very soothing. Like I crunched that thing between lunchtime and when we did the podcast.
I can only listen to it for about an hour and a half because of the narrator's voice. Because I'm like,
I don't know. Like I listened to all of it. But anyway, that kind of brings me back to my original point. Okay. Your polyamorous relationship, just like my monogamous relationship, they're all founded in the same place.
Trust, honesty, communication.
Right. Trust, honesty, communication. Those are the three big things. Okay. Because you can't trust your partner if they're not honest with you.
right.
No.
Okay.
No,
And you
and
can't
I have
communicate
a
if you don't
hard.
trust them.
I have trust issues, anyways. So if I felt lied to or deceived, I will automatically shut down,
Oh, I know you
and
got.
I will be a cold hearted cunt. Like hell, even when we went to go look at the car guy, the guy that I
Mhm.
often work out with, he like, oh yeah, she does have trust issues. So
Yeah,
I mentioned,
Absolutely.
when I handed him that blank check to cover it because I trusted him because he's proven himself time and time to me.
But see, that's another thing right there. Okay, now that we live in an area where that's pretty common, writing
Yeah.
someone a blank check, that's more common than here than
In other places.
anywhere
Yeah.
else.
Yeah,
in the
you're
world,
not going
I
to do
think.
that shit in, New York City.
Chicago,
Yeah.
Chicago.
anywhere
Little
else,
Rock.
Kansas City, Little Rock, Springfield, nowhere.
Branson.
Around here, though,
Fayetteville.
people know you.
Yeah, and exactly. And your
Oh.
reputation is really built on what kind of honesty and integrity you can
Right.
have in your life. And if you have, shit for integrity, and if you cannot be honest even in your relationships, your reputation outside of this relationship is really going to travel far. You don't hear so much about the good guys, but you do hear about the bad guys.
Yes, you do. Now, I think that's a sad thing.
And-
We don't hear so much about the good people as we do the bad people.
Right.
Because we just put them on blast, but we don't take the time out of our day to be like, you know what? I got to throw this guy out there. I was like, all right, guys, here you go. This guy just did me a solid.
Right.
This is the thing.
Yeah.
This is what he did for me.
And I think that is a big
Yeah,
thing.
so shout out to Nate and Nate's Auto Body. Like seriously, the best freaking mechanic in town.
I'm actually
he
gonna
did
be
me a
checking my car
solid,
tomorrow.
Oh
like,
yeah,
he
that car is running
overworked.
friggin' on. When we're done with this, you gotta come check that thing
Yeah.
out.
So we literally bought a car that was falling apart for my son's first car, and first car that a little bit of a panic attack. Hold on. Anyways, so we took it to him, and I said, "Do what you can. I have a budget of $2,000, so do the workup over it." And he got me, for a little bit over $1,000, but he fixed it,
And
he
we're
got
still
all the leaks in
I mean, really, we're still in under than we would
under
be.
$1,500 for the entire car. So
Yeah.
like
For a
that's
good running
amazing for
car.
the first car.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean,
I'm
that's-
still driving Kory's first car.
Yeah.
yeah. That's
That's
yeah.
the first car that
That's
I
the
own.
blue.
Yeah.
That's the blue Cavalier.
Oh.
Yeah, that's my
I
first.
didn't realize that was the same car.
That's
That is the same car.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you guys want a Timex 98 Chevy Cavalier, if you could find one, those things don't ever fucking stop running.
And it has been through Kory's teenage driving years, early 20 driving years, driving an hour and a half to and from work every day.
Single day.
And
And that thing
then
is, it's taking a beating. It's got like 250,000 miles on it or
Yeah.
something.
the dash comes out of it. I mean,
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
but the engine is still solid as a rock.
Oh, one thing. So my energy today is just so freaking pumped. The audience can't see, but I'm sure you guys can. I'm literally bouncing
Yeah,
around as I'm talking, and I'm walking around everybody. And I'm
Correct.
jumping, and I'm getting off topic. And that is because of one reason I actually did the gym today, because the gym is finally open. Fuck you, COVID. And I feel the most amazing that I felt.
I'm actually going back later.
In my like at 1:30 or so, like I've got
Mhm.
deadlifting time, but it's like I just want to
Like-
What's
All
scary
those
about
endorphins.
polyamory? I know,
Those
and it's still
endorphins are
going. It's still
pumping.
going, and I love it. And I feel like I can either do like a 10-hour sex session or run a freaking marathon right now. It's amazing. I am not
We'll see
leaving.
you guys
No, so
On that note,
yeah. No, on that note, we covered some of the basic topics today, with polyamory, and really, I just want to reiterate.
Actually, I think a lot of it was mostly questions, and that's I think we need to do a little bit more question and answer.
Yeah.
Because I would love for our listeners to actually throw us a question every once in a while. Because that's
you guys can totally
that
use
was
that chat
Stephen
box.
and,
Like, please
David.
do.
yeah.
All right. Well, I was just said sorry. I saw a hot bitch on my phone.
I was telling them they could
Yeah.
use the chat box to ask stuff.
Oh yeah. Go
Yeah.
ahead, ask your questions. I know we have so far 26 listeners, which is good. This is the most listeners we've ever had
Is
during a live. Yeah.
Sweet.
Yep.
So
We're coming
okay.
up in the world.
I'm useful.
Like, here's
so
the thing, though.
as
Like,
for the experience polyamory, are there any people who would like to reach out? You can call in or you can type your question in the box. We can try to answer. Please don't hesitate. No question is stupid. Everything is valued and everything will be answered
I
honestly.
think that's an important thing to touch on real quick. No question is a stupid question.
No, absolutely
Yeah.
not.
Because if you ask a question, it's a lack of intelligence.
Well,
Mhm.
All right. And it's about filling that gap to give you more. That's why no question is a stupid question. And I know that
And
there are
all
some.
knowledge is power.
All knowledge is power. All power corrupts. All that stuff. Anyway.
No,
Yeah.
not all power corrupts. Knowledge is power, and the more power you have, the more you read, the more you get actual facts, not
I read all the
social
time.
media, news,
Finding
fake news, all that. None of that. Actual facts. Once you get all of those in your head, you actually have more power to face your day and your relationships in a more honest, trustworthy, real.
Yeah.
You know what?
way.
Well, I mean, ultimately, having a knowledgeable foothold on something before
Yeah.
discussing it
Spouting.
with
Right.
someone else.
Well, I mean,
before
that's why
spouting
we've
and
largely.
before trying to be somebody else's bounce.
Right.
Mhm.
You can't answer questions you don't have the information
Exactly.
to, or you shouldn't. And it's always okay
But
to
that's
say,
why
you know
we
what,
have-
I don't know.
But that's why we have drunk Uncle Kory.
Damn straight.
He fills that role for us all.
Well, those
I know his nipples are so fucking
Jesus,
hard.
You're gonna tear your
the
shirt, man.
constant. No, they're soft right now.
Yeah, that's
When they get
That's
hard, I
when
can cut
mom's
diamonds
around.
with them. Like,
All right, so for the viewers, he's literally standing here in a white shirt, and I can see his dark areolas and everything, and they're like little tiny diamonds, just like sticking straight through.
I've got lovely nipples. Thank you very much.
Kyle, quit poking him with your knife.
he's always had perky nipples.
I got perky titties. Okay.
That's a good thing. You won't
I
need a bra in
do
20
not.
years.
I do not.
I
God,
never
my
have.
wife does.
If it
Jesus
helps,
Christ.
dude, I have
So
the
my
tiniest nipples in the world.
No, he does, but like my boobs stopped being perky when I was pregnant, and they hit a size E. And
Yeah,
I swear
so-
to God, they dropped to my ankles, and
Real-
they're slowly retracting. I finally just made it back to a B.
Real talk. My mother-in-law is she's coming up on like 68 and still looks great. So I have
You have a lot to look forward
a
to.
lot to look forward to.
So having seen your wife, I can totally,
Oh
get
yeah.
that.
You've never met Katie?
No,
No,
I've met her.
yes.
I've only met her a handful of times.
Right, but he's never met my mother-in-law.
Ah,
Yeah.
And the
okay.
crazy thing is, me and my mother-in-law, we get along so well.
That's a good thing.
She's an
You know.
awesome lady.
Like her grandmother,
Yeah.
her grandmother's still a good-looking woman.
Oh my goodness, yes.
Still a very good.
Her mother's-
She
Mother.
reminds me of my own grandmother.
And she is sassy.
All old women are sassy. I
Oh
swear to
no,
freaking
this
God.
No.
woman, this
She-
woman
she's
takes
from the
sassy
South.
to a whole new level.
Okay, no joke. Meet my grandma. I've met Katie's grandma, and just that one time, I was just like, "That's my grandma.
Mhm.
Mm-mm. That's my grandma to a T."
She straight up told my grandmother-in-law straight up told me she didn't trust men who didn't have scars on their knees
Why? Because they're giving a lot of blowjobs, or what?
Because they're not working.
because they're not working.
Yeah.
They're not on their knees.
Okay, so what
How's
does that
that
mean
out?
for my
I'll
knees?
do you
My
one.
knees
I'll
are
do you
pure
one better
scars.
now. I was dating a girl once. My grandma looked her dead in the face and goes, "You smell like twat." Walked out of the room.
You know what? Your grandmother was never rude to me ever.
That's because she likes you.
Oh
If
man,
my
me
grandma doesn't like you, she will tell you. She
And
will
see-
say
well-
shit like that the first time she meets you.
My grandmother was always rude to me. So,
Yeah.
but not until you had 2 boys. Then you
no,
were like
then I
the
had
light
2
of the
boys,
universe.
and then I was the mother of 2 sons. Big difference. But you know, this is very old school
No.
male
No,
dominant.
it's old Spaniard tradition.
Old
Like burying babies where water drips. That's why all of grandma's
Well,
dead
and-
siblings are
and
buried around
when
the house.
you're on your period, you have to be separated from everybody, and after you have babies,
Oh,
you have
I've
to be
heard
in
that
bed
one,
for
yeah.
6 weeks.
Yeah.
No shower, no bath.
And the first
Oh,
the
Oh,
first
yeah.
the firstborn of
Ooh.
the
That's
firstborn.
disgusting.
Yeah.
ooh, that made
Hold
my
up.
skin crawl.
The firstborn of the firstborn goes to the grandmother to be raised.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that I was supposed to go to my mother's mother when I was born, and my dad basically said, not no, but hell no, not in this lifetime ever. And that is when my grandmother started loving my dad.
Yeah.
Up until then, she didn't even show up to the wedding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She
Oh, yeah.
actually tried to get my mother to not marry him and tried to stall the whole wedding. It was a big issue.
Uh-huh.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And funnily enough, my grandparents are actually a lot better off than anybody else in that entire family.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just noticed a giant gallon of Tabasco in your kitchen.
Yeah, actually, that's the one
yeah,
I bought in
that's-
September.
That is a 3-month supply.
I think
Where
it's
did you
December.
even get this?
Oh, you
From
can order it
Tabasco.
on McElhaney website.
So yeah,
That's awesome.
recording.
Yeah, that's what I buy one of those about every 3 or 4 months.
Sorry to randomly derail the podcast there.
No, I mean like I eat a lot of Tabasco. Like look at my Tabasco jar. I've had that thing for like 6 years.
Yeah.
I just wash it out, refill it. Like
That's his to-go bottle.
it works.
Yeah. Actually, I just filled it all the way up to the top last night. That's what I ate in a day.
Yeah.
I keep hot sauce in the work fridge, so I get
Yeah. Oh, I mean, I like hot sauce. Anyway, holy hell, we have gotten so off topic like
Just
the
a bit.
entire
Well,
time.
I'm good at doing that.
Yeah, well, I'm really good at doing that. What are you talking about? I'm meant for that. It's where a lot of my humor comes from. It's like that shock and awe.
Well, yes, you're very good at shock and awe. You're very good well, and I really think it was from all of the word games that we used to play in the car.
Constantly.
Okay.
You know, it's so hard not to have like a word association game going on in my head when I'm having a conversation.
Hey, we have gone so far into rabbit holes. This entire show has turned into rabbit holes instead of staying on topic, which we discussed.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sorry.
but, I mean,
you know what,
shit,
y'all? I'll take the blame on that.
There are too many people here to stay on topic.
I don't think so. I think we've actually covered a lot of different I like covering a lot of
Okay,
different
so
subjects and
we've
just having a naturally
started-
flowing
We've
conversation.
skirted around a lot of things, but we haven't gone in depth. So
Okay, let's
So
go
what
in
is the
depth.
question you want to answer?
Ooh, that's a great question. What's the
What-
question you want to answer? What's the question you want to have asked?
Yep.
mm,
Because obviously you want something asked.
There, because I know
What
that
is
you've
your
got
need?
something on the tip of your tongue that
Mhm.
you are really wanting
Hold on. Let
to
me see if I can spot it.
found
to
it.
discuss and put out there for other people to learn from.
okay.
So what is that? What is that?
So let me think here for a quick second. Recently, I was put into a situation that I had trust in somebody, and I thought it was one way. It turns out to be another way. So there was a level of deception there. But I'm really, really want to reiterate that for any relationship that you have to take, there has to be a deep level of honesty. And I know for a lot of people that it's really hard to be honest with yourself, with your partners, because you're afraid of hurting partners or afraid of tearing
Them hurting
families
you.
apart or you being hurt yourself. So you build up walls and you stop communication before it starts because you don't trust your partner to not tear what you've built together down.
And I think that you guys have actually built up to this by talking about making a friendship before making a lover type situation.
Exactly.
Right.
I have a question for you,
Huh.
and maybe this will get you on track for whatever you want to answer. But what is your risk reward ratio in polyamory? Like, how do you balance out the risk and the reward?
Well, right now, it's literally all risk. There has been very little reward to myself in my current situation.
Okay. So, but when you're looking for a relationship or another relationship, but a polyamorous,
Typically, what I typically look for,
right? But what's the what you're willing to risk versus what you expect to be rewarded with? Like, where is the balance in that?
I'm not willing to. Can you please step from behind me with that goddamn knife? I swear to God, I will flip you over me right now. Put the thing up.
It's like a fidget spinner.
I don't care. Freaking holy hell. That's not intimidating.
It was.
Especially talking about the
You're
subject that we're
literally,
talking
yeah,
about.
right? Look at the topic we're talking about. You're literally standing behind me, flipping a butterfly knife open, knowing that I have trust issues, that you're literally behind me. I don't even like you walking behind me.
Reward
Like, what the
ratio.
fuck? That's
took a
some
risk,
shit. That is
there's
a
no
trigger.
reward.
All right, people. I just found a new freaking trigger. God, I'm panicking here. Fuck.
Sorry. It's like a fidget spinner.
It
I
is.
literally,
No,
I've
I totally
caught
get
myself
it.
doing it.
It's totally, when
I've
he
caught
was a
myself doing it at
kid,
work in front of customers, and my boss has been like,
When-
"Dude, what are you doing?"
when Corey was a kid, he was
I'm about to
he
throw
worked
that damn
really
knife away.
hard to get a specific reward, and the reward was an antique butterfly knife from a friend of mine. And he sat there for years. Flip, 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 flip,
Yep.
flip, 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 flip. And I mean, it just got to where it was.
Oh, I'm really good
What-
with one now.
It
Yeah.
was just noise in the background. So
All right. So, getting back on topic a little bit, I
Risk
really,
reward.
I don't believe in rewards or a reward system. I
Right,
base
okay, I'm not-
everything. I base everything
okay,
off of
instead of
love.
using the word rewards, benefits.
There you go. Risk
You-
versus benefits. Where is your
Because-
level of risk versus benefit, and what risks are not so much?
Okay, so I'm not willing to risk my marriage at all.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
I wouldn't put that on the
That's-
list. But what is
Right.
something that you're willing to risk in order to benefit?
How far are you willing to go?
I go
That's-
to some pretty weird places.
Not sexually, personally.
personally. All right.
Because
That's
sexually,
completely different.
those are two completely different. Those are two different tables. I'm
Yeah,
talking about
because
the-
if you're sexually like literally, I've risked it all. I've thrown it out there. I've gone pretty much everywhere sexually, and I have no hard limits. That is
Right.
one thing I've discovered.
Okay, but see, for
but
you, that's not a
emotionally,
risk.
emotionally,
and psychologically, because those are the two other aspects.
I can tell you what ideally I would find in a
Okay,
poly
what is your
relationship.
What is your ideal?
Ideally, I would find another Kyle, but different. If that makes sense, I would find another
It makes
person.
sense to
I
women.
have to throw
So,
this out there.
wait a
There
minute.
could not be two of me because then there will be no drywall in our whole fucking house.
Hit me harder, Kyle.
No. Essentially, I would have that deep level friendship connection. I would have
So,
that, and it
You've
would
already
honestly.
got that in Kyle. Why do you feel like you need to look outside of it to find another Kyle?
Good question from an anonymous person.
Okay.
Which I've had the same question.
And it is a question that's been bouncing around in my head too. I mean,
So
because I know you have a good marriage.
I have
so-
an amazing marriage.
If you feel completely satisfied
Mhm.
with the relationship that you've got and the trust level that you
Because
have,
it stems from my deep belief that humans are meant to be shared. You're meant to love multiple people, because when you don't love multiple people, you become complacent and you become trapped in a circle that eventually goes dry because there's not anything being put back into that relationship. But
see,
with
I
poly,
completely disagree with that.
Well, see,
I-
that's perspective, though. So
Yeah.
our perspective is different from their perspective,
Well,
and perspective is reality.
and that's okay to disagree, but there are some times sometimes it's just nice to have that outside person that is not in the relationship. You see people talking, okay, human condition is meant to share, is meant to be shared, is meant to be loved, is meant to be loved by multiple, meant to love multiple.
I agree that we are meant to love multiple people, but I don't agree that love needs to go into the sexual realm. I believe the sexual realm should be saved for the one person that you've chosen, and that it needs to stay there so that there's a trust.
And with me and my background, the sexual is typically explored well before any kind of emotional thing is ever brought up.
There's a major disconnect.
Yeah, there's a huge disconnect.
And I have that issue as well because of my background.
Now,
but
and you see, that's the thing about the perspectives. Okay, so we were talking in a previous podcast. So sexual abuse goes one of two ways. You either majorly repress yourself, or you majorly go out and do your thing.
Right, you either deny that it ever happened, or you justify why it happened.
Yeah.
Well, and
through justification, it's literally put on the victim.
I actually have done both.
But that's the thing. It's never one way or the other all the time. It does flip-flop back and forth depending on your mental state.
Exactly.
Yeah. Not for everybody.
I'm not
now see the thing that's with me, and I recently kind of feel really robbed of, is the thing. Hello, G Radio. The thing that I value the most is actually fluid bonding.
Okay.
And so that is something that I hold very, very sacred with my husband. And that is reserved specifically only for my husband.
And see, that's how I believe the whole physical intimacy should be within a marriage or within a relationship.
Yeah.
Because that is, to me, and it's taken me a long time to get to this point.
Yeah.
Because of the sexual abuse. But I have gotten to a point to where I don't want to share my intimate person with more than one person. And I want that person to share with me. And because I don't want there to ever be that. And I know I would be so jealous.
Yeah.
I would not be able to get off of that jealousy. And I would always think that they love them more than me.
I'm not a jealous person. I one thing I found is that comparison that you were just speaking of, they love them more than me. That is such it's a common mindset. It is common mindset. But it is one that is born in a toxic trait. It is born because of fear and insecurity instead of out of love.
Okay, I'm sorry, but this just reminded me about something, because me and my wife were talking about our marriage a couple of days ago.
Right.
It was brought up that she wanted to try and have kids next year. And so we're going to eventually start trying. Yeah, right?
Sweet.
I know. I'm going to have to spoil the baby so much.
Don't let her near that child and live on cupcakes.
Are you kidding me? That's what the kid's going to be living on here. Like, you want some brownies? Here's some cinnamon rolls.
Mini parties. I talked to grandma. Mini parties.
Cookies over here. Anyway, no,
I'm going to kidnap that baby so much.
We were talking, and, I asked her, I was like, did you ever think that you would actually be in a marriage where you would be loved? And she said, no. I thought I would be in a loveless marriage. And I said, me too.
Yeah.
And
see, that's what I thought marriage was, because all of my other relationships were so loveless.
I just said something about that to you the other day, didn't I?
Right. But I realized that.
And that's coming from somebody who's married twice before.
Right. When we got together, I didn't fully expect us to actually love each other. I thought it'd be more like a business deal, where we would go in. No, think about it. No, really, think about it. A business deal. Two companies merge, right? It's about two companies merging and trying to benefit each other. And that's what I thought our marriage was going to be, is just two companies coming together and trying to benefit from that relationship and eventually finding love later. But now that we're here, I realized that I couldn't love her anymore. And somehow I do every day. I wake up and this woman is still there. And I'm like, God, you still look amazing. And I look at that wedding photo, and it's the happiest day of my life. And I can look back at that, and I'm like, oh, man.
And see, dude, I do that too.
See, okay.
I wake up, and I'm like, first thing I do is I'm like, she still texts me back.
Right.
What?
You're like, holy shit, I still get attention from this person.
what?
I feel validated. And, and I still do shit throughout the marriage. Like, I looked at her the other day. I was like, baby, you are the sheet of my nanigans. And, it's shit like that
Right.
that, kind of it helps bond us together a little bit each day. But just sitting on the couch and having that time together, I know that when she lays down, she wants me to kiss her on her forehead so she can fall asleep on the couch, which was hard because last week I was doing doubles and I had to go to bed early, which totally threw off her schedule because she likes to sleep on the couch and then go to bed with me. And that way we can spend that time together. But since we went to the bedroom, it was different from her regular schedule. And I realized that's largely based out of love and her expectation of spending that time just being there and trusting me, to protect her while she's sleeping.
Yeah.
Right. And see, and then that's a big thing, I mean,
Safety.
Yeah.
That's
security.
That's
Yes.
a big word that hasn't been said a lot yet.
Right.
Yeah.
There
Security.
is that is a big part of a very healthy relationship is security in the knowledge of who you are to that other person.
Right. Now, security
and
can go
who that
multiple
other
ways,
person
though.
is to you.
Like a lot of women need financial security so that they feel safe and the bills are paid and the mortgage is paid because they have security in where they'll be.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's
See,
largely
I can provide myself with financial security, but what I need mostly in my marriage and in other relationships is emotional security.
Yeah. And that's the hardest thing to find is that emotional security.
Right.
Like me and my wife have a fantastic emotional security, largely because we didn't sleep together while we were dating. Okay. Like at all. There was no sexual. I mean, of course, there was a few ass grabs and a few things here and there.
Blows my mind, but
but see,
I totally respect.
Here's the thing, though. That's the best thing that ever could have happened because I came from a place where sex was, just like, hey, right there on the table, and we went forward, and then we would try to have an emotional connection. Whereas when I did the reverse, because that's what she
built
wanted,
that emotional connection,
and then we had sexual relations. And that's what really was the basis for our relationship. I didn't understand it, and I was very insecure at the time because I was someone who expected that and thought, and I received validation myself through physical connection. Okay. And I realized that was a negative, toxic trait of mine.
Very much.
And it was that 4 years that we were together dating was the most growth that I've experienced as a person. Because I didn't change because she told me to. I changed because I understood after a moment, it did take me a moment, about 8 months is when I realized that I actually liked her as a person.
Right.
And that blew my mind. I'm like, wow, she's actually like fucking awesome. And that's when I'm like, all right, I need to stop smoking. So I stopped smoking. I did pick up vaping, but
like that moment,
I stopped smoking. I got over the fact that I don't need to receive physical validation to be secure in the relationship. I needed emotional validation, which she gave me constantly.
And that is a huge thing. And I think a lot of...
Come closer to the mic if you're going to talk.
I'm going to trip over a dog is what I'm going to do. And I think a lot of men especially don't like to admit that.
Right. Okay. Well, largely, I've said this before, men are mentally retarded.
We are.
We're emotionally retarded.
We are emotionally...
And mentally retarded.
We are emotional fucking Neanderthals. That's what we are.
Most of us are mentally retarded too. It's called testosterone poisoning. But emotionally speaking, we are retarded emotionally because society dictates that, we have to stand there and watch everybody get rescued while we're standing on the fucking ship sinking and just fucking giving the salute.
Right. Well, and then that's that whole, men have to suck it up attitude.
Right.
Which is a lot of that is in how you're raised.
Now,
which
is
weird.
You the video. Did you ever watch the video?
I did not.
There was a PhD psychologist that spoke about how at several points in human history, it has come down to like single digit numbers. And in those points in time, you don't need multiple men. You just need one man.
Yeah.
Okay. So men are largely replaceable. We don't.
Oh, very much so.
Yeah. Like we don't have the ability to make kids.
Yeah.
But we're capable of literally repopulating the world
from one person. Man. Exactly.
Right.
Yes.
As long as there's multiple women.
Right.
Okay, so our ingrained process to protect women and children is the continuation of the species. And we're here at this point where we're not going to be hurting anytime soon. And because of that, that's actually where the fertility argument came into play. I'm going to have to find that and send it to you. She's fucking amazing. The point of what she was saying is that feminists at one point were useful. They did bring about women's rights, because I'm not disparaging that at all.
Right.
Women should be
But
able to
they
have jobs,
ruined-
votes, and
They ruined marriage. They ruined parenting. They ruined
see,
parenting.
that's because
kids.
it's not just a feminist. And actually, we have podcasts where we talk about this. It's not
And
feminist.
I
It
listen
is the toxic family values.
Right.
It is so many people for so long left it to the leave it to beaver mentality. So they were shell shocked when people actually started bucking that system.
Right.
right.
And
but it needed to be bucked because there are the single mothers who came out of the wars
Mhm.
because so many men did not return. So many men were at war. The mothers were single mothers.
But see, we
And
have
then-
that mentality of men are
but-
replaceable.
yeah,
But-
see, that's the thing, because
But the thing is that fathers are needed
they are.
in every child's life. And that is a blanket statement. I will only put a little
For abuse, molestation.
abuse,
That's
molestation.
the only thing that's not
all of
needed.
those things absolutely get out of your children's lives.
Right.
That is what that is why I pulled my kids away from their father, was because of abusive situations that I did not want them to be around.
Right.
And so I protected my kids. But there are so many women out there who are manipulating the system. They're manipulating relationships. They're manipulating their children to think that men are evil across the board. And they're not. In fact, I taught my sons, and this is a big deal to me, I taught my sons how to date by taking them out on dates.
Yeah, that's true. Actually,
That's
that did
cool
help
as
out a
hell.
lot.
I did. I think that all men should take their daughters out on dates so that
Mhm.
they know that they are valid human beings, and this is how they should be treated.
Right.
That they
That's-
should not be treated just as sexual objects.
No.
That they should be cherished.
I
And
remember
men-
that
men
very,
should-
very clearly.
And men should all, or boys should also be taken out by their mothers so that they get that same value system and understand that they are important
They are.
and
Well, see, that's
they're necessary. You know, men are. I know you're saying that men are
no, that's not what I'm
replaceable.
saying. I'm saying the
But-
mentality of the replaceable man in the family unit and in society in itself has degraded us to the point where we are mentally, or not mentally, but emotionally retarded, is because we don't understand emotions. They're not needed to sacrifice yourself.
Right.
Yeah.
What's needed to sacrifice yourself for the betterment of the population
You
is
see-
that mentality of fucking, I'm going to go down with the ship.
Like I understand where you're, as a woman, I can understand where you're coming from in that kind of
Right.
mindset of what a lot of the feminists, especially the new, not the old feminists, but the new age feminists,
Yes,
the
there's a
pussy
huge
power
difference
thing.
between
There
those.
is. And the new feminist is extremely detrimental. And this is coming
But see,
from a
they're pushing us
humanitarian. But at the same time, they're destroying women's true value.
They
yes,
are.
they are.
They are destroying.
Yeah.
Now they're destroying women's true value by making men more replaceable.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's the
And
issue.
they're also destroying their own value in what they say, because most people they don't even take women seriously anymore.
No,
and
no, they
and
don't.
Oh, no,
we're
man.
a
No,
laughing
man.
joke, when I start speaking about men's rights and stuff like that, and which I do quite
Yes.
often, because men are valuable. They are our equals. And
Yes.
that is such a powerful statement. Men
could
are
not
our
be-
equals.
There could
And-
not be a population if there were not men and women.
Exactly.
Right.
And it goes beyond that. Our weaknesses are their strengths, and their weaknesses
we
are our
not,
strengths.
We are not equal, but we're valued the
No,
same.
we are equal.
Well, no, you're misinterpreting
We
what
are
I'm
Equal
saying.
in value.
Yeah.
Yes, we're
Equal
equal in value.
but different in ability
Yes, that's the point that I'm
and
making.
capability.
We are not equal across the board, but we are valued the same because of the differences that we embody. We can come together
Right.
and be stronger.
Exactly.
For instance, Men are naturally stronger. I'm not going to say all men. There are some skinny beepholes out there, but men are naturally stronger.
Thank you.
But most men are generally stronger than most women.
Right. Testosterone. That's, it's because we are
more,
different.
You have more muscle to your body. It's
right.
just...
Like me and my wife were talking the other day. She's like, if I picked up an 80-pound dog, I can't just walk around with that all day long. I need to pick him up and put him on the table. I'm like,
why not?
Right, but see, I can pick up an 80-pound dog and I can walk around for a couple hours before I get really tired and have to put him down and take a rest. And I don't necessarily exercise at all, but I can still do that because I do have more muscle tone and muscle mass than my wife does. Okay, and it's the difference in the two. But see, she brings to the table she knows what her emotions are. I don't know what my emotions are most of the time. Hell, all the time. But
you
I know
about your emotions actually more than most men.
Yes, but see, I actually had to take time. This is the thing, though.
Right.
I had to take time out of my life to actually study emotions and what they were like to get some sort of connection between the two. And even now, it's not secondhand to me. I can't just be like, oh, I'm feeling morose. No, that doesn't come to mind. It's not like, oh, I'm feeling anxious. I'm like,
See, okay.
What is this emotion? I got to think about it before it even comes to me.
See, as you're describing that is a human issue because I am exactly the same way. Like I have to say, and most of the time I fall apart and break down and I have to really self-reflect before I figure out why I'm acting the way I'm acting or why I'm feeling the way I'm feeling.
Here's the key difference though. You sit down and cry and get it out.
Okay. Most of the time I don't cry. Most of the time I get very angry because I'm mad.
I'm not saying
because I'm upset.
Woman. I'm not saying you're a typical woman, but I am going to say the atypical woman does release her emotions and those pent-up frustrations by crying, getting it off her chest, and then she feels better. Right. Men, we can't do that because it's a sign of weakness. And society sees that, and they're like, this is a weak man. We can trample him. We don't have to respect what he says.
And that reminds me right there, stop doing that to your fucking children. Seriously, your children's emotions, your husband's emotions are valid because they are their emotions.
And valuable.
And yes, and valuable. Like you have to acknowledge that there are weaknesses that they will have and you have to be their strength. You have to talk them through and walk them through why they're feeling the way they're feeling.
And help them
understand
what
and bring closure.
And Kory says that he didn't fully understand his emotions until he was in his 20s. The reason that it only took till his 20s is because the reason it only took till your 20s is because you and I would talk.
Yeah, right. No, we did talk. I have a fantastic relationship with my mother. I got to put this out there.
Of that is
I don't
the way
have.
They were raised.
Yeah, it is.
I had polar opposites as parents. As far as that. I had a stepdad who was just like, "Here, have a beer." At 14 years old because
get
I'm
over
upset
your
about
shit. Here's a beer.
Exactly. And then I had a mom, and I actually remember my parents having arguments because of he needs to act this way. He needs to be
right. But see, we're
training. Fuck with somebody.
We're training our children to be warriors when they're toddlers.
Ultimately, in that regard, that whole have a beer thing won out for a long time. It's just now,
and then you had a major disconnect with your emotions.
That I'm getting back to that emotional thing.
Yeah, but
cover up your emotions. Don't
cram that shit to the back of your head.
But why, just now into your 30s, are you coming to terms with those emotions, and what is sparking that change?
I can tell you exactly what he's going to say. It's largely because of you.
Yes, it is 100%.
Now, why is that?
Because you actually take the time to allow me to speak about this kind of stuff, and you're not like just shut the fuck up.
Well,
which I've actually gone into.
Pause for just 5 seconds. Okay, largely, when men and women get into an argument, you've already processed your emotions, and when you come to him, you hit him with it. He hasn't thought about this yet. And it takes us time to process before we can actually get into it.
That's not true in my case because I don't process. I process by talking through with my husband.
I'm not saying that that's your relationship. Yeah. I'm saying you as in speakers, listeners, but people who sit there and like women, you're going to talk to your friends for like 2 weeks about what the fuck he did. And they're going to be like, oh, he's going to come out with this. You got to hit him with this. And then you start.
That is a toxic trait. And actually what I speak about often, it's fine to have a confidant. We've had in a previous podcast about that, but shut the fuck up to other people about your relationship. Like, I talk about my relationship openly here so the audience gets it. But
Right.
outside of here, nobody knows of my relationship except for you.
Right.
And
Right.
that's
Well, see, that's
it.
like I've got my confidant, I've got you, and I talk to my mother, but I'm very open about my relationship in my
Right.
life. I always have been, because I just don't feel the need to actually lie about anything. It's just throw it out there, and others people's opinion. If you don't like what I said or what I did, fuck you, and then I move on.
Yeah.
You know.
Well,
All right.
part
Well,
of that
we
is
are coming up
because-
on 2 hours.
Yeah,
That's fine.
Part of
And
that
I've
is-
got to leave in
Yeah, so we really need to hurry up and wrap this
Okay.
up.
about 10 minutes. Roughly.
Oh, good.
Part of the
Oh, yeah,
reason
thanks.
that Kory and my other son have the ability to be so abrupt and so bald-faced about their emotions, about where they stand, their opinions, is because that was an open topic.
Yes.
And I love
When
that.
they were children, I
Yeah.
accepted what they said, and then we would work through that, and we'd say, this is not a good thing, or
Right.
this is a very good thing, or have you thought about this?
And I
And
love that. Like
so
that's one of my.
Conversation.
Yeah.
Talk to your kids, people. Talk to them. Find out who they are, and
Now, what
love
would
them
you-
for who
Like,
they
that is
are?
one-
What would you recommend? And like case of my older son, he refuses to discuss anything. We
Oh,
try
yeah.
to get him to talk, and he absolutely refuses.
And I should
Well-
point out that since his grandfather passed away, his grandfather and him.
And
were
that happened with
like
both of my
this.
kids. That happened with both of my kids with my brother. When my brother passed away, both of my kids and my youngest is really in a lot of ways still there because they had such a close relationship with their uncle. They've got to process through
Funny.
that and leave it open so that they know that they can come to you when they're ready, but they've got to be ready. You can't force that issue, but you've got to be prepared for when they are ready to sit down with them and be real with
Yeah.
them. Kids process just as much as we do and in the same ways that we do because that's what they have learned. So
That's
it's
going back to family of origin.
that very
Right.
much family of origin. So if you process your feelings by raging, they're going to process their feelings
Yeah.
by raging.
See, that's how I was personally for a really long
Mhm.
time because I didn't know how to process my emotions. And it actually wasn't until I discovered Marshall Rosenberg that I was able to better
I'll tell
process
you
my
what.
stuff.
If y'all don't wind up with some kind of like sponsorship because of that freaking book, every
Right.
time.
Yeah, he's such a good author.
He
and
was an
it's-
amazing man,
Yes,
an
it's
amazing teacher.
He actually he would go to tribes. Was it
Yeah.
Africa?
Yes, yeah,
Yeah, and he would-
I've
He
listened
would
to
do
it all.
conflict
He would do the
resolution
yeah.
between tribes with people that like killed other people, their brothers and
Yeah.
fathers and sisters and shit. And he would work out the resolution between those people.
Yeah.
That's an amazing man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, that's basically the same thing of doing it in a family
Yeah.
because you've got a tribe of young brother and a tribe of older brother and a tribe of middle
Yeah.
sister.
And
They're
we
all
don't
tribes,
have
and we
a fully
to-
developed prefrontal cortex. So the laws of man and God do not exist in this fucking household.
I beg to differ. I am a
Yeah, you can-
full-fledged, hardy.
You can definitely beg to differ, but
Bible.
when you were gone, no face shots.
Yep.
Yep.
All right, guys. So we are coming up on the 2-hour mark at 1 hour and 52 minutes right now. So we are going to go ahead and close out this podcast with some closing thoughts
Mhm.
from Kory and myself. You guys shut the fuck up. Love you, Ma. No, really though.
The one thing I've got to say is talk to your kids.
Absolutely. Talk to your freaking kids. Be there for your children. Be there for your husbands. And
Be
stop
willing to
making
listen.
those in your life feel like they're excluded from your life because
Mhm.
everybody in your
Yeah.
life is a part of your life and they all hold a key to a different part of your life. So everyone is important. Everyone is of value and everyone needs the same sort of validation, communication, and honest perspective.
Yeah, and not everybody receives it in the same way.
No.
It's about figuring out how people receive that validation and respond to it. Find out how they receive validation.
Yeah.
That's how you're going to communicate better with your partner.
Exactly.
Okay.
you know,
every person is an individual.
and most importantly, stop being deceptive with the people that you value in your life. Stop being deceptive with your primary partners. Be open and be honest. That way there are no hiccups in communication. There are no later coming back saying this person said this and this person said this, but I thought it was something else.
See, that's about the emotional dam I discussed in a previous
Exactly.
podcast.
Be transparent. Transparency in any marriage, monogamous or polyamorous,
Kids
is so
too.
important.
Yeah,
Yeah.
parents,
Kids too.
brothers, sisters, siblings,
So
Your
grandparents.
kids aren't going to trust you if you are lying to them and they know it.
exactly.
Yep.
They're just not going to trust you.
Exactly. And things always come out, and whether we want them to or not, it's not always a person. Sometimes it's an action or, feeling, or just even something that's been suspected for a really long time, and just digging certain questions asked. It's always a behavior. And if you're not, and it can be for anything, but if you're not honest, that can destroy a relationship. Whereas if you're honest from the beginning, you can build on that.
Right.
And most importantly, it's so important to actually live in love instead of fear. So don't let fear guide your actions. Always speak from your heart and allow your actions to be true to who you are.
And be willing to listen.
Exactly. And be understanding.
Because that's 90%
And accepting.
Of communication is listening.
Exactly. Understand your partner. Listen to where they're coming from. Accept your partner and their flaws, and find ways to work around those flaws. So that is it for today, guys. We love you, and stay tuned for Thursday. Have a wonderful evening. And this is just FK. Remember to like, subscribe, and share.